All right. Hi, it's Christina Nicholson, and today I'm going to talk to you about media relations. What is media relations? Nobody really knows. A lot of people know what public relations is, but there's a lot that falls under the public relations umbrella, and media relations is one of those things, and it's probably the most popular thing. So what is it? It is when you earn media exposure without spending any money on advertising. And that is why we love it so much. It's more challenging, and if you're like me, you like a little bit of a challenge, and it's free. You just need to know what to do. So today, I am going to give you 3 tactics that will help you earn more media. Something else that'll help you learn? Grab my free media guide that is linked below, because I go into a lot more detail there, and I share some important details that I won't get to in this video. So the first thing you're going to want to do is have a media relations plan, which really is just having a goal. I meet with a lot of business owners and I always ask them, where do you want to be? And they say, oh, everywhere. I want media everywhere. I want to be on Today's Show. I want to be on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday. I want to be in this magazine or in that newspaper or that TV station, which all sounds great, but realistically, that's what everybody wants, and it is not easy to get. It takes a lot of work. So what is your end goal? Is it to build your email list? Because if it is, then you're probably going to focus more on podcasts or more online media. If you have a local brick and mortar store, then you're going to want to focus on local media. Maybe it's TV or it's the local newspaper. Whatever it is, you need to have your goal, because that is going to determine who you reach out to, when you reach out to them, and what you reach out to them with. So get super specific on your goal, because pitching the media, it's challenging and it's time consuming. So you don't want to have all of these goals and all of these places where you want to be. Instead, pick a few and start there, and then you can branch out. My second tip is to practice Media Relations 101. And in other words, this is don't bother the journalist. Let me tell you, my #1 complaint as a reporter was dealing with publicists. They were so annoying. They had no idea what I did for a living, yet they continued to fill my inbox up all day, every day. I actually just talked to a producer friend of mine who just left TV, and she said the same thing. She said, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with all of these emails from all of these people. You need to know how to pitch a journalist, and let me tell you, the best way is a short and sweet email. Tell them why you're emailing them and why it's good for them and the audience that they serve. Because if you send them a big, long press release and it's all about you or it's all about your client, they're going to ignore it, because their job is not to give you or your client a free commercial. It's to tell the news. So bring them something newsworthy and tell them why they should care. But do it in a short and sweet fashion, because let me tell you, they get hundreds of emails a day. That's not counting what's breaking in news, the phone calls that they're getting, the stories that are already assigned, events that are happening. So if you want to make it in the media, then you need to build a relationship with the journalist, and these short, sweet emails are the way to do it. And also, take it out of the inbox. Send them a tweet. Comment on something that they shared on their Facebook page, because then when they see you in their inbox, then it's not going to be so cold. They may recognize your name and be more willing to open up that email that you sent. And finally, you want to be featured in the news. That means you need to be newsworthy. And sometimes it's not just about your story and how you got started, because it's so unique and it's so cool. Everybody has a story like that. They're a dime a dozen. You need more. So I like to say, use the 3 E's. You need to educate the audience. You need to entertain them. And you need to do that with emotion. So for example, I don't think I've ever done a health story where I just had the doctor as a source. Yes, the doctor is very educational. He knows a lot of stuff. He's not that entertaining, and there's really not a whole lot of emotion. So I would need the patient, because the patient is more entertaining with their story, and their story is full of emotion. So concentrate on those 3 E's when you pitch, because that is what makes something newsworthy. And using those 3 elements is exactly how I earned 1 client coverage in the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune, Runner's World, Men's Fitness, Women's Running, and even the Today Show. And finally, you want to give the journalist a reason to do that story now. Why does it have to happen now? Because if you don't give them a reason, they're going to put it on the back burner. If it sounds good, I'll put it over here and I'll get to it later. And then a whole bunch of other stuff will be happening and you'll be forgotten. So look at the calendar and tell that journalist why that story should be done now. Again, you can get a lot more tips in my media guide. That is linked below. Please like this video, share some comments, let me know what you think, and then also share it with your friends.